Yeah, so AI has always been, the holy grail of computer science. And, when I was young, Stanford Research had Shaky the robot that was trying to pick things up. And there were various logic systems that people were working on. So the dream was always some sort of reasoning capability. Overall progress in AI until machine learning came along was pretty modest. Even speech recognition was just, barely reasonable. And so we had that gigantic acceleration with machine learning, particularly in sort of sensory things, recognizing speech, recognizing pictures. And it was phenomenal. And it just, kept getting better, and scale was part of that. But we were still missing anything that had to do with complex logic, with being able to say, read a text and do what a human does, which is, quote, understand what's in that text. And so as Microsoft was doing more with OpenAI, I had a chance to go see them myself independently a number of times. And they were doing a lot of text generation. They had a little robot arm. The early text generation still didn't seem to have a broad understanding, like it could generate a sentence saying Joe's in Chicago and then 2 sentences later say Joe's in Seattle, which in its local probabilistic sense, is a good sentence, but, a human has a broad understanding of the world from both experience and reading that you understand that can't be. And so as they were enthusing about GPT-3 and even the early versions of GPT-4, I said to them, hey, if you can pass an advanced placement biology exam where you take a question that's not part of the training set or a bunch of them and give fully reasoned answers, then you will really get my attention, because that would be a heck of a milestone. And so, please work on that. I thought, they'd go away for 2 or 3 years, because my intuition has always been that we needed to understand knowledge representation and symbolic reasoning in a more explicit way, so that we were 1 or 2 inventions short of something where it was very good at reading and writing, and therefore being an assistant. And so it was amazing that, you and Greg and Sam over the summer were saying, it might not be that long before we want to come demo this thing to you, because it's actually doing pretty well on scientific learning. And in August, they said, yeah, let's schedule this thing. And so in early September, we had a pretty large group over to my house for a dinner. I think maybe 30 people in total, including a lot of the amazing OpenAI people, but a good-sized group from Microsoft. Satya was there, and they gave it AP biology questions and let me give it AP biology questions. And with one exception, it did a super good job. And the exception had to do with math, which we can get to that later. But it was stunning. It was mind-blowing. After the biology questions, I had them type in, what do you say to a father with a sick child? And it gave this very careful, excellent answer that, was perhaps better than any of us in the room might have given. And so it's like, wow, what is it? What is the scope of this thing? Because this is way better. And, then the rest of the night, we, ask it historical questions about, are there criticisms of Churchill, or different things? And it was just fascinating. The idea that you could have it write college applications or, rewrite, say, the Declaration of Independence the way a famous person like Donald Trump might have written it. And it was so capable of writing, writing poems, give it a tune like Hey Jude and tell it, to write about that, tell it to take a Ted Lasso episode and include the following things. Anyway, ever since that day in September, I've said, wow, this is a fundamental change, not without some things that still need to be worked out, but it is a fundamental advance. And it's confusing people in terms of, well, it can't yet do this, it can't do that, it's not perfect at this or that. But hey, natural language is now the primary interface that we're going to use to describe things, even to computers. And so it's a huge, huge advance.